Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to try to connect the dots on a world that just feels contradictory. You know? From what's happening in global politics all the way down to late-night TV, we're going to try to make sense of the headlines that seem to be pulling in opposite directions.
So get this. What do a Chinese general, a Federal Reserve rate cut, and a canceled TV show have in common? It sounds like the setup for a really weird joke, right? But it's not. Stick with me, because you're about to see how these seemingly random events are all tangled together in one big story about our world right now.
All right, first up, let's talk about the biggest tension of all. It's this massive global tug of war between everyone saying we need to cooperate and the reality of deep, deep mistrust that's pulling us apart. I mean, listen to this. This is a powerful line from China's Defense Minister Dong Jun. And believe me, this isn't just some diplomatic fluff. It's a pretty stark warning, coming at a time when things are getting really tense geopolitically. It perfectly captures that core conflict we're seeing everywhere. Do we work together or do we fight? And this is where it gets really strange. Look at this paradox. A huge majority of people, we're talking 75%, they want countries to work together on the big problems. But at the exact same time, trust in the very institutions that were built to do that, the UN, the WHO, it's at rock bottom. So we all want teamwork, but nobody trusts the team captains. How is anything supposed to get done like that? Now, that lack of trust, it's not just some abstract political problem. It has real, tangible effects on your wallet and the entire global economy. Which brings us to our next theme, money, markets, and all the big moves being made. Okay, the big economic headline of the day. The U.S. Federal Reserve cut interest rates by 25 basis points. That's just a quarter of a percentage point. Now, normally, a rate cut is a sign of confidence. But this time, the message feels, cautious. It feels less like a solution and more like a nervous twitch in response to a really uncertain future. And you can see exactly why the Fed is feeling so cautious. It's not just one thing. Oil prices are dropping because U.S. demand is weak, and a nearly $19 billion energy deal in Australia just completely fell apart. See, these aren't just isolated incidents. They're all little tremors signaling a deep uncertainty that's rippling through the whole global market. This kind of uncertainty, it creates the perfect environment for competition. And right now, one of the most intense battlefields where these rivalries are playing out is in the tech world. In this arena, regulation isn't just about rules anymore. It's become a weapon. Just look at this chess match playing out. On one side, you have China ending a huge antitrust investigation into Google, an American company. And on the other side, the U.S. is cranking up the pressure on China's TikTok and the chipmaker NVIDIA. These aren't just simple business decisions, not at all. They're very calculated, strategic moves in a much, much bigger game for economic and political power. Okay, so let's bring all these huge global tensions down from the stratosphere of geopolitics and high finance to something a lot more personal, like the TV shows we watch. Because this week, politics slammed right into pop culture in a huge way. All of a sudden, with almost no warning, ABC pulled one of its biggest late-night shows right off the air. And that show was Jimmy Kimmel Live. So what on earth happened? Well, the show was reportedly pulled because of regulatory pressure over jokes Kimmel made about conservative activist Charlie Kirk. And the move sparked a massive outcry. Free speech advocates immediately started warning about the chilling effects this kind of thing can have on free expression. It just goes to show you how fiercely our political battles are now being fought right in the middle of our culture. So with all of this going on, the geopolitical standoffs, the shaky markets, the culture wars, it's so easy to get lost in the day-to-day headlines. But while we're all distracted by these immediate fires, a much larger, longer-term crisis is quietly being pushed to the back burner. So the European Union is supposed to submit new, really ambitious targets for cutting emissions by the end of this month. It's a huge deal. But there's a major problem. They can't agree. The delay is being caused by internal disagreements. And the consequence is pretty clear. They're now expected to miss that critical deadline. And this brings us right back to that paradox from the beginning. We all say we want cooperation, but division just keeps getting in the way. Even one of the most integrated political groups on the planet can't agree on how to tackle our single greatest collective threat. So let's recap. A Chinese general warns about the rule of the jungle. The global economy is showing clear signs of fear. Tech has become a weapon. Even late-night TV gets caught in the political crossfire.
And while all of that is happening, the clock is just ticking on climate change. It all leads to one final, really critical question for all of us. In a world that's so consumed by daily crises, who, if anyone, is actually steering the ship?